We've reached a turning point for humanity, and no matter what, there's no sitting out. You will choose a side. Let's talk about this. Okay, I want to take a quick minute, share my thoughts in reference to a comment left in the comment section on the channel. And so once again, I want to have a real talk, heart to heart. Let's leave out religion. Let's just leave that alone. Let's talk facts. Let's talk evidence. Let's talk what's happening in the real world. So basically, as I mentioned, a turning point for humanity. And what do I mean by that? Regardless of your viewpoints, regardless of your spiritual beliefs, whatever religion you might want to try to use, it doesn't really matter. Because if you look at the evidence that's been put before us, there's a growing movement of one particular set of beliefs, ideology, philosophies that appears to be creeping out of the closet, and it's becoming mainstream. And at some point it has to bother you, because that is a decision being made, whether you want it to or not. It's just being thrust into our face, and it has to do with Satanism. And so once again, on the screen here, I'm putting up all types of articles in reference to the word Satanism or Baphomism being used in mainstream news today. And so you might say, Mike, keep religion out of this. You can't keep religion out of this when it's being thrust into your faith. Just the fact that Satanism is a form of doctrine, it's a form of way of life for some. It's the prevailing narrative for this world and this kingdom that we're all in. So you can't actually exclude religion in its entirety. But yet, for the sake of this conversation here, we can just nail it down to two simple concepts: good versus evil. And so I put together some visual aids, and I want to bring it to your attention just to highlight how, whether or not I talk about religion or evil or good or whatever, it's going to be thrust down your throat no matter what. Now it's a matter of, which side are you on? And so some people might say, hey, I don't have a dog in this fight. It don't really matter to me. But that is not true. Let me show you why that should matter, because no matter what, at the end of the day, the way the world views you, you are the dog that's in this fight, in a sense. But so here's the first visual I want to put on the screen here. As you guys can see here, we have a globe, we have the world, the governing structure that we live in. You don't have a choice. You're going to participate in either one of these sides. So if you go to the far left, you have the evil side. That's one of the signs that's showing up everywhere in the mainstream news nowadays. And a lot of this stuff is not necessarily about you. It's more so about the next generation. So if you're a parent, such as myself, then you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? It's not so much about my own personal preferences and my likes, my comforts. No, it's about the indoctrination that's for the next generation that will grow up in an even more godless and immoral society. And so this visual here gives you an idea as to what's going on. Most people want to straddle the fence. They want to keep it neutral. They don't want to go left. They don't want to go right. They don't want to be hot. They don't want to be cold. They just want to live their life right up the middle. But that has been taken away from you. And I'm going to show you why and how that's become the reality. So you can't avoid these things. You will make a choice whether you'll serve good or evil in the days ahead, just by sheer circumstances that you're going to be put in. And so just this visual here is the very first one. As you guys can see here, we have to the far left a Satanism sign. That's just a part of the extreme left, the radical left, So we have a lot of people in the high political realm that actually participate in stuff like that. We have Klaus Schwab, who wears his little outfit when he's not, out front of governments trying to, coerce, world leaders to follow his agenda. We have the Davos, the Bilderberg. We got pedophilia. We got, human trafficking. We got many forms of evil, you name it. It has to come from somewhere. So you don't necessarily have to be a religious person to acknowledge evil, do you? Hopefully not. But then counter to that, there has to be good in this world as well. And that's the part where people like to nitpick and say, hey, I'll keep that to myself. I'm not going to share that. But the fruit from your tree speaks for itself. So no matter how you like to either keep it to yourself or let the world see it, people who know you actually see your fruit. Why? Because it's evident. It's your true religion is your belief system, your walk, your talk, and all the things that come from that. That is your true religion, if you want to use that. And either it's good or either it's bad. But everybody has their own walk. But then again, I want to get to my second point. 2 years ago, there was a defining moment for humanity. And this is how I say this is the transformation of humanity, because whether we wanted to or not, whether we were on the good side, the bad side, it didn't matter. It was chosen for us. And it happened when the world was locked down. And the idea of this, health situation was thrust our way, and everybody at that current moment put in a position where they had to comply. There was no choice. You didn't say, I didn't have a dog in this fight, it doesn't really matter, whatever. Well, regardless of what country you're in, for the first 15 days of slowing the spread up until this current moment, everybody has made adjustments. And the adjustments that was made was put together by the same entity that's furthering this agenda of evil. And so you have to be able to acknowledge that what's happening to the world, whether it happened naturally or not, I'll let you determine that. It was done without your permission. So therefore, you are thrust into this fight of trying to decipher between truth and a lie. And so to piggyback even more, we have so much stuff thrown at us over the last 2 years. And so the crossroads, or the defining moment, has been the introduction of the Great Reset. The Great Reset in of itself has automatically shifted us to where there has been a crossing of good versus evil. And so no matter what, moving forward, you are in this fight. You are the dog that's in this fight. Now it's a matter of being willing to, swallow your pride and admit, even if you're not at the point where you're ready to determine the true source of who you are and where you come from, you have to acknowledge good and evil just because it's at work. And all the attributes of evil is at work right now. You look at the way all the countries were shut down. You look at the mandates. You look at the decrees. You look at the idea of people losing their jobs because they didn't participate. Like, to me, it was put forth as being something good. But when you sit back and you look at it, you know deep down within that that's evil, because people should have a choice. But a part of the Great Reset is the removal of your choice. And no matter what your personal beliefs, philosophy, theology might be, it's already underway right now. And so the evil is at work in this world. And the only thing that can counter evil is good. At the core essence of this, one of the things I want people to walk away from, if you're watching the video at this point, is don't let the word religion deter you from deciphering between good and evil. Because I think one of the biggest tricks that has been put on humanity is the fact that religion is so thou shalt not, all that stuff. And that's how it's being portrayed. But in my personal opinion, that's not relevant for today's age, because as we're witnessing, we don't see nothing in the mainstream talking about thou shalt not and all that other stuff from a religious standpoint. They're just outright telling us what they want to do, what they're going to do and how they're going to do it, especially with the UN and the WHO right now concocting an ultimate plan to further, take away your life and your ability to choose freely. But ultimately, on this last visual aid right here, as you guys can see here, this is the ultimate agenda of the enemy, of the evil one, of those that have chosen the dark side. And it's underway right now. It's in process. So as you guys can see, we have the crossing with the Great Reset agenda and everything that came from that. I'll let you guys figure out what that is. By now, I'm sure you know. But moving forward from this time on, as you guys can see at the top of this visual aid here, we have a helix, an automatic merger. I call it the merger. Everything is merger. Everything now moving forward is intertwined. So if you thought you were out of this fight, you better ask somebody, because as of now, what else does that helix look like? It looks like human DNA. And then when you talk about stuff like that, you get into some real evil, satanic type stuff. And then that takes us right into what? The Fourth Industrial Revolution, which is a part of the enemy's plan, the evil one's plans. So if you ask me, the religious people, or the people on the far left, the people who chose to worship the powers of darkness, they are the ones out here controlling the narrative as well as the agenda. And it looks like a lot of world governments might be in lock and step with it. So where do you fit in all this? You're in the helix. We're all in the helix. And that has to do with, of course, as you guys can see behind that, the robotic hand shaking a human hand, the whole transhumanism, the merger of man with the demonic forces. This is where this stuff is heading. So I just wanted to take a quick minute, share my 2 cents on this, and just put these visual aids before you and let you know, no matter what, you are the dog in the fight. So there's no avoiding it. Now, you can run from it, you can hide, but from these pictures here, we're all on the same world at this current moment. So you're going to have to deal with some things. You're going to have to give account to some things. You're going to have to answer some things. That's just how it goes. So my advice and my recommendation would be, stop running from the fight. acknowledge the fight, decipher between good and evil at the bare minimum. And then moving forward, you can further, through discernment and through spiritual enlightenment, be able to determine the best pathway for yourself. But you're going to have to fight. If it's not for you, it's going to be for your children. It's going to be for your nephews, your aunties, your uncles, because the time is coming where we will have to resist outright, publicly speaking. There'll be nowhere to hide. And for those who choose to try to opt out, it's automatically done. You're on the far left side of this equation. You're already going to be given over to the dark side. So anyway, just wanted to share my two thoughts. Let's get rid of religion. Let's just focus on good and evil for now. And as of right now, according to all the things that are at play, you're already in the fight. So strap up and let's get ready to grind. Anyway, just thought I would share my thoughts. Where did I miss it? Give me your thoughts down below. Of course, take this information and share it, just because this is something that a lot of people are not able to talk about. They're not able to talk about it because most people, in this alternative media space, they focus on the symptoms, not the underlying problem, which is the governance model. And of course, as we're speaking right now, the governance model is being shaken up by those that are on the religious side, on the religious left, I will put it, the dark side, those that are bombarding us with satanic and very dark, evil agendas. So anyway, what do you guys think? Leave a comment. Curious to hear your thoughts about this video. More to come. Peace.